Shai by Shimakahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to you, brothers, pushing this truth throughout the four winds. Not really sure what I'm going to entitle this video, but just through the Spirit, I pray it's edifying. And just reading in, like I'm in the book of Acts right now, I kind of wonder, like the Lord's process of choosing some of the men he chooses, just inquire, just curious, just thinking about it, because I just have two examples that I have right here, I just think it's amazing, dealing with Paul first. Now, it's kind of going into the Gentile thing, If you look at Paul's walk in the beginning, when he was Saul, you'd see today he would be, when he was in that mind frame, the perfect Gentile, in a perfect Gentile mind frame, because he went against Israel. He persecuted them, and like it was just this personal vendetta, Now, if you look at who you would call someone in a Christian church today, it's the same thing. It's that same narrative. Could you imagine if we were in a system to where people could freely do what they want to do with the prophets? Could you imagine that right now? If they could do what they want to do. I'm pretty sure there's instances of brothers being attacked on the highways and hedges, But just imagine if it was just a free thing for people to do as they pleased. The prophets that's on the highways and hedges, it would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? If it was just a free thing to do. So, it's just kind of crazy just seeing the process, but it shows the Gentile, it just shows like the Lord's process of choosing. And speaking on Paul, we know this is Romans 11:1. It says, I say then, has the Most High cast away his people? Most High forbid. For I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So we know that Paul was a Benjamite. Okay? Now, when he was in the mind frame of being a Roman citizen, look at how he thought. Look at how he was against Yahweh Shem Yahshai and the movement. Okay, and the things that's just natural on who he was. Look at how he was against that. Okay, because he was in a Gentile mind frame. So what better person to drop the Spirit on, to do that work, seeing everything from both sides of the field? Okay, Paul went from playing a high-powered offense, and that Spirit fell on him, to playing a high-powered defense. So he saw it from both perspectives, and it just seems like the Lord, when he chooses in all situations, he brings you out of a certain mind frame, into another mind frame. But that first is tough. I'm just ranting. Let me get Acts, and this is back to Paul. Acts 22 and 25, it says, and as they bound him with thongs Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman? But I thought he just said he was a Benjamite. So the way that everyone perceived him, they knew what he naturally was, but that citizenship and what he represented was in a Gentile mind state. Now, could you imagine going to another country right now? First thing you'll holler is, I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the first thing you would say. But are you truly American by birth? No, you're Israel. It's the same thing. So the Lord chose, the way he chose Paul, he saw both sides of the spectrum. So me personally, this isn't no doctrine or nothing I'm saying is a doctrine or whatever, but I just kind of see it like, who better to choose than Paul? Who better could he have chosen than Paul? Because Paul, he really didn't care for Israel. So why not use him? Just to show the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in this drastic turn. A lot of people feared him. Even when he came and the Spirit fell on him, they feared him. Okay? But he was a Roman, but he was an Israelite. Okay? Now, let's take the worst case scenario today and someone who goes against Israel. That could be an Israelite. That's an Israelite. Could you imagine if the Lord dropped the Spirit and they totally turned? Imagine a man in a church right now. Let's just say T.D. Jakes, for example. Let's say the Lord chose him. It's hypothetical. That man has a massive following. So imagine if the Lord just totally turned his mind frame and put the Spirit on him, and he turned all those people. Just think about that. It almost seems as if that's how the Lord, that's how he works. He works like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way with Paul. He was in a Gentile mind state. Okay? But then when that Spirit fell on him, all that was done away with. So it shows the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That power is heavy. So by that power being made manifest, everybody that didn't believe, now you're going to draw a bigger crowd. The crowd comes in now. It's like, what, wasn't he somebody that was against us? Now he's for us and he's telling us about the Spirit and what happened to him. So Paul told his story and it's like, wow. Now people are listening and they believe. Okay? It says, when the centurion heard and went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. You see that? This man is a Roman. Makes perfect sense. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was born free. Kind of crazy, right? Look in America today, or where we are in Babylon. This is the mind frame of who we would know as Israelites, but claim to be Americans. You know what I'm saying? They claim to be Babylonians. They take it to their grave because it comes with a certain status, you know. But that status doesn't mean shit. Okay? Because you were born in America, that don't mean shit. But it means something here. It means you're in the Gentile mind frame as an Israelite, and it benefits you in ways throughout this wicked society, okay? But it still puts you in a Gentile mind state, all right? Hebrews, it was Paul, and let's deal with Moses. Now, we know the story of Moses, born, you know, found by the Egyptian daughter, you know, picked them up and basically made the child her own, raised amongst all these Egyptians. But, and guess what that would have made him? A Gentile, in a Gentile mind state. Now notice the two men I'm speaking on are great men when it comes to the scriptures. Okay, great men. So the way the Lord chooses these men is just, it's amazing. You know, because they've all been put in situations to where their true heritage comes out. All right? Their true heritage and who they truly are, it comes out. Hebrews 11:24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. What took place? What transpired? The Lord had a certain work for him to do. Okay? The Lord had something for him to do here. So just imagine being in a palace or being amongst royalty, to where you can have anything, all the pleasures, the best of everything. Imagine having these things. And what did Moses do? Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. So that Gentile mind frame was gone. That spirit, once it comes upon you, you can't withstand it. You know? So that Gentile mind frame is gone. It's out of there. But notice how the spirit, when it came upon him, he chose rather to suffer. So being a Gentile in mind, when that's gone, it's out of there. Okay? So it says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto recompense of the reward. Having that spirit on you versus having the spirit of being in a Gentile mind frame, it teaches you patience, humility, to be humble. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you all these things. That's the kind of things it brings forth to who you are, to your characteristics. Because if we were thinking in the flesh as Gentiles, we would stay where the illusion of freedom benefits us. Okay? But once the spirit comes, that Gentile mind frame is taken away. Okay? It says, by faith he forsook Egypt. So all he was known for, raised in royalty. So being raised there, that shows you that the physical things benefits you nothing. Could you imagine being raised and it's like everything you know is top notch, the best of the best, and all of a sudden one day the spirit came over you and now you choose to be in a lower estate. It's only the spirit that does that. Okay? No regular man and regular flesh is going to just accept the lower end of the stick. It has to be the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Noticing or knowing, coming from the Gentile mind state to who you truly are. It says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. So he followed the Spirit. Okay? It says, through faith he kept the Passover and sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. So it just lets you know right there, following that Spirit and listening to Yahweh Shem Yahushua takes away the mind frame of being a Gentile. Okay? Hope this is edifying. Till next time, shalom.